Hello and welcome to Solent.
Hampshire is home.
I'm Tom Goward and here are your 2:30 headlines. From Sunday League to golf, Ollie Howard interviewed Dan Williamson about young golfers in Hampshire and the joys and the struggles of the sport.
Hampshire is home to some of the finest golf courses in the UK. From the heathlands surrounding Blackmore to the sweet scenery in Liphook, the birthplace for county golf unions offers some of the best rounds about. Yesterday, however, we travelled to Chilworth, about 5 miles north of Southampton, to follow young golfer Daniel Williamson around 9 holes. Like many young adult golfers, Dan got into the sport during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I'd say that's when I actually properly started getting into it. I got my own set of clubs and just started going quite regularly, really.
As golf is typically played during the warmer seasons, the 20-year-old spoke about adjusting to the colder and wetter conditions.
For me, personally, I really don't enjoy it. I'd say I play my worst golf in the winter, especially in the rain, because the greens are just so more... It's a lot harder to judge the greens for me, because it's harder to get the pace right. And I don't like the rain.
But despite these adversities, Dan managed to find the rub of the green on Monday afternoon, much to his surprise.
Usually I'd say it's probably my worst, but today, it's probably been... Other than my tee shots, I'd say, yeah, my putting's probably been the second best part of my game today.
Oh, shots.
The Northampton lad admitted he prefers the longer holes around the course, north of 300 yards, so he can use his favoured clubs, as shown on the 5th tee. But with other commitments, such as university and other sports, golf hasn't quite taken priority.
Not as often as I'd like to. I play... I don't know, when I haven't got anything on, so like summer holidays, I'd say I play at least once a week, probably. But I'd definitely like to play more.
With the cost and somewhat snobby reputation, golf was shunned by the majority of teenagers and young adults. Perhaps the lockdown has shed some light on a thoroughly enjoyable sport, with its popularity soaring amongst youngsters by the day.
Basketball is an ever-growing sport in the UK, and as of 2018, basketball viewership has increased by 30%. Tom Humphreys reports.
Been a basketball player most of my life. Grew up watching some NBA games. I think I originally got into basketball playing the NBA, like video games, as a kid. Kind of got more into it into like secondary school. Picked it up, played for my high school team. Playing for my secondary school, I managed to go for a three-pointer. Fall on the side of my foot, stick my arm out to try and save myself and dislocate my elbow, which kind of took me out of the game for a while. I think I was in a cast for like 9 months, but it's been nice to see kind of in the more recent years of kind of growing more and more. I think especially with like popularity of the NBA and massive players like LeBron James just kind of really bringing the sport kind of way more across the Atlantic, and the popularity has really grown, I think, so much in the last few years. I have friends that are passionately basketball fans more than any other sport, which is kind of nice to see in the UK more and more.
With Qatar's hosting of the World Cup causing controversy, the students at Solent University had a chance to voice their opinions about the mega sporting event. Corey Webb gave us this story.
I'm here standing outside Southampton Solent University, where we're talking to the Solent students about Qatar hosting the World Cup.
I don't think they should have got it in the first place. I think obviously there was a bit of corruption involved, but obviously I'm not the one to speak on that. I think there's a lot more countries that deserve a World Cup than Qatar, really. And, yeah,
don't really agree with it completely. I respect their culture. I think it's important that the people going over there respect the culture as well. But I think all the slave workers that died leading up to it, building the stadiums, don't agree with that. Don't think it's fair they got the World Cup because they got it based on corruption with Sepp Blatter and FIFA. And yeah.
Well, it doesn't really seem right considering all the human rights violations going on over there. So I think it should be taken pretty harshly by everyone. I agree with all the hate that FIFA's getting for it.
World Cup.
I think it's more important for the World Cup to protect its fans rather than loads of money playing in a country that doesn't really support the kind of people its fans are.
Well, we can't really do much because they are hosting it, but they shouldn't really be hosting, and I think they're not really prepared enough, because it took them the day before to say that they can't have alcohol in the stadium. So I don't really think they're prepared enough for it, and I think some of the games have been boring. But yeah, that's not really what you want to hear.
In the World Cup.
I think the World Cup in Qatar, it's very controversial to a lot of teams. So I know a lot of like English players, especially like Harry Kane, he's mentioned, he's annoyed that he wasn't allowed to wear the One Love armband and stuff like that. But I think players alone, I think it's very hypocritical, where they're saying, oh, they're not allowed this, they're not allowed in the World Cup. But if they really stand for it and they believe in what they do, then leave the World Cup, do you know what I mean? Just don't play this and that. But I don't know, I feel like if the World Cup happened in England, you respect the country's traditions, laws, etc. So I don't think it's anything too crazy, but it's just a matter of certain people, this and that. But I think football's football, so you don't need to get too political about it, do you know what I mean? I think it's just another nation holding the World Cup, and I think whichever country it is, you should respect like their tradition.
I think it's pretty cool. The stadium looks very nice. Looks appealing to me.
I think it's fine, in all honesty. I see a lot of people making a big deal about the fact that they don't like the rules over there, but they got to understand that we're going over to their country, so we should understand and live by their rules once we're over there. And if you have a problem with it, just don't go. I don't really see the big issue with it. It's the same as if they came over here, we'd expect them to live by our rules and our laws. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Wales face England tonight in their toughest and most tense match yet. Sitting bottom of Group B and with 1 point, World Cup progression seems unachievable for the Red Dragons. John Henderson and Gareth Bale talk about their preparations for tonight's game. That's all from us today. Thank you for joining us, and for more information follow our social media pages at Solent Sports News or go to our website solentjournalism.co.uk.